Hey, good afternoon, everybody. We're out here with residents of Napa who are protesting for Black Lives Matter and the injustice that occurred with George Floyd in Minneapolis, the death of George by the hands of a Minneapolis police officer. So we're just out here with this group of Napans and just getting support for the community. And here's the police department. I'm just out here to let them know that we support their right to protest peacefully and to get their voice to be heard. So we're here to partner with them, and we really want to know what we can do to help partner with the groups here and to make this community a safer one. You know, this is seeing the folks out here and participating in this event is what's about making change. Change is complicated, change is hard, but the first step to making change is making sure your voice is heard. And being out here and protesting peacefully and not causing chaos and disruption within the community is healthy protesting. And this is what we support. We as a police department understand that you have a right to do that, and we're going to support that. We just want you to know that if you have questions or concerns, whoever's watching this, please reach out to the Napa Police Department. As the Chief of Police, I'm here for you, and I'll hear your words, and I will support you and try to work with you any way we can. So first step to making change and to healing is communication. So thank you very much for letting me participate in this, and everybody out here, keep up the good work. We need you out here, so thank you.
We are here today as in support with Black Lives Matter movement. It doesn't matter what color, what race, ethnicity, religions, or any beliefs you have. We're here standing in solidarity with one people, as it should be. There's no barriers or borders here in the picket lines in the front lines, but we're here standing in solidarity with Black Lives Matter. Well, first of all, we need to take back to the incident that happened, George Floyd getting murdered by the hands of Minneapolis police. But we are here in solidarity with people from Napa protesting Black Lives Matter and police brutality. It's been going on since the beginning of time, since this nation has happened. And we're here, not just black people have died from police brutality, but all people in this country have been harassed and have been profiling targeted. And we are here to represent that we will not be intimidated, and we will be here to stand in solidarity with one another. We are fighting the same common struggle, the same common differences that we share. We are oppressed by the same oppressor, by the same system that has been targeting at us and setting up for failure. We are here protesting for everybody, not just for ourselves, but the people who have been racially profiled and racially exploited by the system of the United States. And the reason why we came here to do it, because here, even though I am not black myself, but I truly think that everybody is connected through Mother Earth and to the spiritual journey that we all go through. And being from a different race and standing up for a different race means that it's a beautiful thing to feel the unity and power that we can. Strength and more numbers is our power, and feeling and nonviolence is our strength.
Today we're in a protest here in Napa, California, to bring awareness to and bring an end to police brutality. And there's not a lot of people here at the moment, which is kind of sad. And I was expecting a lot more people to show up, but I have a strong feeling that a lot more people are going to show up later on in the day. The whole point of this protest is not to start a race war. We're trying to end one. We're not doing this just to start problems in the city of Napa, California. We're doing this to end some. Just because our town is not as affected by police brutality as much as other towns in the Bay Area or down south, anywhere else in the United States, that's not the point. We're doing this to show that black people everywhere are getting hurt, and that's not okay. And it doesn't matter if we're black, if we're black or not. What matters is that we stand in solidarity with them, because they deserve our support. They deserve all the support they could really get.
This is a small group, but I think the whole meaning is that people should get outside of their house and talk about this issue. It feels a lot better than reading everything on social media. Getting educated is important, but I think also coming out and just showing your support is, part of our responsibility as well. So, yeah, no matter what people think, if we're being useful or not, it feels good to be out here. Another black man was killed out of just pure fear, and there's definitely racism that's involved, but there's a bigger problem. And as a country, I feel like we've just settled on this systematic racism, and this white privilege. And it's not about being not racist, it's about being anti-racist. Like, that's how we're going to solve this issue. So, yeah, that's what's bringing people out here. I go to college, and I just finished a women's history class, and it's all about how in America we have tried to suppress people, ways of life, to follow an ideology. And in the end, when we try to suppress a group of people or an idea, and it's out of spite, it's out of hate, it's out of control, it's going to hurt everyone at the end of the day. As a society, like, America is not great if people of America are just dying, being killed, and we just let that happen. Like, that's not being great. So as a white person, I believe it's very much my responsibility to come out here and show my support. And we're all human, so that's why. That's the reason. That's why you should show your support for other people, is because I'm a human, and the person who was killed was a human. And that's it. It's just that simple.
Okay, so I'm here in Napa today, and I felt it was super important for me to be out here in the public eye, expressing how I feel about what's going on right now. I feel it's super important, especially being white, that I am out here speaking, using my voice, exercising my privilege to do what we all believe is right in the end. A small crowd right now, but I'm pretty sure today's going to be a long day for a lot of people here. So the reason why we're out here today is because of this recent situation with George Floyd's horrible, violent murder. And that was just the tip of the iceberg for so many people. And so many of us are trying really hard to do what we can, even though there's not much that we can do individually. That's the important key, is that if we unite and we're all together, it means more. It's a bigger voice. There's more of us. That's more power towards the people, for the people. It's really important, and I can't stress this enough, how important it is. If you're white, doesn't matter what color you are, you need to be exercising your privilege. You need to be using your voice. You need to be out and doing what you can about the situation. A lot of people my age are out here right now, and it's very evident and clear that a lot of people my age understand a little bit more what's going on. And a lot of us are angry. We're really angry. I'm not saying that anyone should be using this to be violent in any way, but instead of being violent, show that you're angry through your words. Be verbal about it. Why are you angry? Why is this such a big deal? Why is this so important? We need to be telling our white community that this is what's important right now. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. So I guess this is directed towards the people my age, but in the big scheme of what's going on, this is directed towards everyone. Our responsibility right now is to be using our privilege for good. It is to be, making sure that other people are aware. If your neighbor is a racist, you need to find a way to, try and educate them. You need to make that part. If your family doesn't believe the same things that they should believe, then it's your responsibility to make sure that people understand and that they are educated on the matter. It doesn't matter, who they are. If they don't understand what's going on, it's our responsibility to make sure that everyone knows what's happening. The whole media is, it's really hard right now because the media is not really doing their best job to portray what's really happening. So it's really hard for people that aren't educated to know what's going on. So for the people that are educated and for the people that do know what's happening, it's so important that you need to share your voice. You need to exercise your privilege. That's all I could say. I don't know how many times I need to reiterate it,
Well, right now, currently, we're protesting for the death of George Floyd. His death was caused by abuse of power by a cop. It's happened way too many times. It's not the first time it's ever happened. And if we don't do anything right now, it's just gonna happen again. It's more of the youth's responsibility because we're gonna be the ones that grow up and fill in those jobs, take power, and we're the leading cause of all of this. This is the world we're gonna be left in, so we have to do something about it. It matters to me because it's not just black people. It's everybody, Asians, Muslims, Mexicans, and as being Latino, it scares me. It could happen to me too. It could happen to my family. It could happen to my friends.
Hi, we're here in Napa. This is the earliest stage of a whole day's worth of standing up for truth and justice and just basic human decency. And I'm here in particular because I'm a teacher and I feel it's my duty to educate, to be here, to be present, to vote daily with my feet, with my work, with my practice. And one of the things that's really giving me heart today is all the younger adults that are here, the teenagers, the young adults in their early 20s. It really gives me hope. So in addition to this being my way to stand for truth here and for human decency, it is also a BLM bomb, to see how many people care and how many people want a healthier, decent way of being. So, and this is my daughter. I'm going to give her a chance to speak too. She's a soon-to-be 9th grader at Vintage High.
Okay. So, I mean, you kind of said the introduction, I guess. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that people are blaming, this is awfully specific, I have to say, that people are blaming George Floyd's death on pre-existing heart conditions because, I mean, no matter how healthy you are, if somebody kneels on your neck, something's going to happen. And I do, like my mom said, I really like that there's a lot of young people who know what they're doing, who are standing up for what's right.
In addition to the young people, I I originally came with another teacher from Vintage High, and I do think there's still adult education that needs to happen, and it's nice to be able to be here and see so many generations, because there's so much that people my age know historically. And for example, I started my kids with all this distance learning. We did study we actually studied the history of America from 1900 up through the 1980s, learning about civil rights issues for African Americans, Native Americans, Latin Americans. And I do think it's important that people educate themselves. And one thing I'm going to be doing next year with my students, and their parents will take part in it, we're going to be reading a multitude of memoirs. And the one I'm reading right now is called March Forward, Girl, about the Little Rock Nine, when schools were being desegregated, and these were the first children who were going to be educated. I believe it was Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas. So it is important, just education. I know that taking to the streets is not necessarily going to do anything right in the moment, but what really matters is the change of heart. And I do truly believe that education is the way to change the way that we feel and the way that we think. And so it's worth it. It's worth it to be here for that and to raise awareness.
I do think it's important, like she said, that people educate themselves. And I've seen a lot of tweets and things on social media lately that are saying racism is taught, not born. And I think that, and I've also seen things talking about how, I grew up this way is not really an excuse. And if racism is taught in the first place, anti-racism can also be taught and add to change. So obviously, being young, we are the future. And if the young people, are supportive and stand in solidarity, I have no idea how to pronounce it. How do I pronounce solidarity? I think we can definitely exact change in the next few years, and young people can also help to educate older people.
I really do believe that unless we're all free, none of us is really free. I think more than ever we're realizing that we are all connected, and to some degree we really are all one. We've all been in quarantine for months now. I think more and more we're beginning to realize that everything all over the planet affects everybody. So all human beings need to stand for decency and dignity and respect and being better. We're human beings. We just put somebody back into space. If we can do that, we can do this. And one of the reasons too that I came specifically in Napa, I'm so moved that these really aren't pockets of protests or marches or vigils. This is happening all over, the same way that years ago there were women's marches on the exact same day, well, varying time zones, but all over the world. So it really is global. It's happening everywhere, and I think it's so important that if everybody across the United States is speaking about this and taking the time to speak about this, not just think about it, but taking the time and showing up, that's what I think ultimately will passionately inspire people. I'm not speaking very, very clearly. It is the change of heart. It is the change of thought. And the more that people see, yes, I'm not the only one who feels this way, it really will have that ripple effect. It's happening everywhere. And I think it's very important that it happens in Napa. Napa is a wonderful, wonderful community. It is a privileged community. It is a well-educated community. So I think it really matters in Napa to show up. And I love seeing so many different ages, different walks of life, different colors, different attitudes, different dress, different ways of speaking. It does bring me heart. And again, I'm a teacher. I'm a public school teacher. So this is our life.